Well, y'all, here's the simple story, and here's what you've got to figure out. Why, Lordy, why? Why? If you don't like kings, and when we were fighting for our freedom against George III, you tell me, do you think we have a real love affair with kings? So why are we named for a king? That statue of King Louis XVI, King of France. Here's the problem. He's the king for whom this city was named very early in our life. We probably hadn't been here a year. Been here probably 1779. Hadn't been here a year. Revolution is still going on. Clearly, our revolution against England was in part a revolution against our king. We didn't like kings. We believe that kings put their pants on just like we do, and that God or tradition or whatever can't lay a head on somebody's head and make them somehow bigger, better, and more important than us. People ought to be involved in that. Now all these ideas are maturing, they're growing, they're evolving. But that was fundamental. We did not like kings, but we were nobody's fool. What we're really trying to answer here is how this community got named for a French king when we were involved in a revolution against our own king and didn't like kings. Here's what happened. George Washington looked up and said, this revolution's in trouble. We need help. Now, we may not like kings, but we're not so proud that we can't get help from a king, some other king. So he dispatched Benjamin Franklin to see this king, this statue, Louis XVI, Benjamin Franklin to go see him and to ask for help. Benjamin Franklin knocked on the king's big wooden door at the palace at Versailles. King comes to the door, slips open that wooden slot, looks out the door. Franklin! Everybody knew Benjamin Franklin in France. Can we agree on that? Certainly in Paris, and certainly in the royal circus, the circles around Paris. Frank! The French king said. Cases himself mid-word. Franklin, are you tied up with those locos? Those locos in America who don't like kings? Yeah, you get off my front porch. In my imagination, that king says, get off my front porch. But Benjamin Franklin persists, leans closer to that big wooden door at Versailles and says, Your Majesty, you do know who we're fighting against. The big wooden door opens. This French king, Louis XVI, who hated revolutions and hated revolutionaries, hated only one thing more, England. And the big wooden door opens, and when Benjamin Franklin leaves that palace, he's got a signed copy in 1778, the very year that we began as a community at the godforsaken Falls of the Ohio, which was soon to be the end of the Wilderness Road, the dead end of the Wilderness Road. He leaves that palace, Benjamin Franklin does, with a signed copy of the Franco-American Spaghetti Alliance of 1778, in which the French king agrees to give us help. He sends generals, he sends guns, he sends soldiers, he sends diplomatic assistance in the capitals of Europe. When we heard the word out here, exposed, vulnerable, dead end, when we heard the word that that French king had agreed to send us help, we kicked up our heels with joy and we briefly started speaking French. We named this community, not Beargrass after a creek, we were thinking about that, not Falls of the Ohio, we thought about that in those early months and almost a year of life out here. We thought about, if they'd asked me, I'd have named it Rapid City, because we got rapids at the Falls of the Ohio. But no, when we heard the word the French king was sending help, we briefly started speaking French and called this place Louis. Hit the space bar on the computer. Give me a second word. V-I-L-L-E. Ville. Louisville. The city, the town of Louis XVI, King of France. And that's how we got named for a French king. Now, what's that French king's family's name? Well, they say bourbon. We say, have a drink, of Kentucky corn whiskey. Bourbon, that product of Kentucky, the whiskey product of Kentucky, bourbon whiskey, uses the family name of the French king for whom Louisville is named. Our symbol, if you look at our flag, I'm an iris. They say fleur de lis. But I'm an iris. And you can see on our police cars, on our city flags, even on the robe of the French king over there in that statue from 1827 is the symbol of the dynasty, the Bourbon dynasties of Europe.